Sean, we're live. We're live. Hello, this is Sean Adam, your host for WROX, News Media International Conglomerate Limited. Today, we're coming to you live from the Rock and Roll Mine kitchen sink, where we have an entire pocket of beautiful Herkimer diamond crystals that we're going to clean up and show all of our wonderful viewers. These crystals have been soaking for an hour or two in water and some dishwashing soap. Which brings me to a word from our sponsor, Rock and Roll. If you need to clean your crystals, use Rock and Roll. Scrubbing, scour, answer. This is the answer to all of your crystal cleaning needs. Compare and save. With Rock and Roll crystal cleaning compound material stuff. Okay, I better get to it. This is an entire pocket of crystals. This is the New Wave pocket. I'll just pull a couple of them out. I haven't cleaned them really yet. They've just been sitting in this, priming up, getting ready. This is the thing that I collected them all in. As I was emptying the pocket, I was putting them into this thing, which is like a garden tool, kind of like compost tool. So you can watch videos of these crystals being pulled in the lives and some of the pocket being emptied in the lives for the smalls that are in this. This vessel primarily consists of mediums, and this being the largest crystal located in this New Wave pocket. Quite a few bigger size crystals came out of the New Wave pocket. They were all in a close proximity to each other. They could be a cluster. I don't know yet. I normally have to clean them up. I keep every pocket together as a pocket. The only crystals that I separate out of the pocket are the very smalls, and they all go into a bucket with other very smalls from other pockets. But every crystal from around this size up is kept separate. So that's a few from this one. This one's got like a nice cluster rider. This one's pretty cool. I like that one. It's got a little rider here. It's sitting like that in the pocket. Twin. Still has some work to be done on it. Another very nice piece. Nice one. So, let's see. That's a nice one. That one has a nice gemmy rider. Some drews. Kind of a square face, window space face on a rider here. Kind of goes from being a twin here to being a single here. A little bit of that face there. Really, yeah, nice. Twinned into one. That was touching another crystal on a cluster here. Oh, that's a nice one. Here's some of the mediums, I call them. Also doing a similar thing in the formation here where it's going from wanting to be two crystals to be one, but that's a key mark, so it got limited in its growth. This seems to be probably the top. One of the top of the, yeah, I think that goes like that. Something around in there, because it's got a similar, yeah, I don't know, I'm not going to start getting into that right now. But this is all one pocket, so they might all go back together. I don't normally look for that too much. So these soaked for a while, they're cleaning up pretty good, okay. YouTube told me not to play music in my lives, so I wish I could just have some music or something, but they demand boring background. This one was pretty dirty. Now you can see it a little bit better. That connects up to the cluster. This was definitely touching. Some connects there. So I'm sitting in the cluster like this. Huh. That one sits in something like that. These are all faces on this. This is like a flat tab. Just about as flat as it can get. And there's no damages on this crystal. That's where it didn't even break at the very end where. So this is a key. Cool. It's got a lot of tabby faces. Every one is a face. Cool. Nice one. Weird. That's a Herkimer diamond anomaly. Not really. They happen, but I guess just don't find them very often because maybe they break or they just get lost or something. Get damages and then you don't know. But this entire pocket, every crystal out of here is new wave pocket, and I didn't organize them or anything. I just put them all in this thing. I'm not that organized. I know someone who is, but it's not me. I am as organized as keeping it all together. Oh, sorry. Camera there a little bit. Okay, so let's get into some of the smaller ones. Oh, that's not very small. Okay, well, this one was really pretty covered with the iron coating. You could not see its clarity at all. It was just completely orangey red. It's kind of like a first look at that one. It's got some weight to it. There's a key mark there. It's like it was keyed in here, but got a face there. Kind of a key face, but it definitely sits inside of another one. That's a pretty nice one. Has some fracture zoning. Internal. All the faces are intact, it seems. Maybe a little bit easier to see it in the camera. That seems to be a touch. That seems to be the main window. Of my preference, I don't know, maybe that is, I don't know, could be anything. All of them. It's actually got pretty equal size. Look at that, nice. A little bit of touch. Not a bad touch, but it's all natural. This is a no damage crystal. Natural damages only. So this was completely red and orange when I found it. It was just covered, and I let it soak for a while, and that's a nice one. Okay, so now let's see if we're going to get into, here's another medium. That one cleaned itself up just by soaking. I think this one sits kind of between two others, like that. Grab too many. These are all. So taking a little time to clean them with water. Just let them soak. Oh, huh. That might be interesting right there. Huh, yeah, interesting. This is a really nice little cluster that has been, as seen on TV. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen this cluster. This is a full floater. It sat on the floor and it has a black Anthraxolite inclusion in that area. Put some of this stuff down for a minute. So this cluster has been shown on my Instagram. This is cleaned only with water so far. The version shown on my Instagram was dipped in the pond and swooshed around for 3 seconds. This is a full floater cluster. There must be clusters, and a lot of the bigger ones tend to have cluster formation right there also, but it's really got, that's why it's new wave, it's got a mohawk. It's not punk rock, it's new wave. Came out there. These are not clean yet. This is just cleaned with water. Next, I will be cleaning them with an iron out solution, and I believe we're going to go through that in this video. Here's a very cool formation that's like a coffin shape. Coffin tab. The sidecar that is gray. It's not even gray. That's actually a brownie. That's what we call that color. Call it a brownie here. We get several colors here. We get very clear. We get brownies, which is in comparison to that clear is that color. We get gray, we get black, and red hematite included, which I will show. I'm sure there might be some in this new wave pocket. I don't know yet because these are all very, very dirty until I'm just looking at them now with you right now in this live. This is like my first view of a lot of these crystals because they were quite dirty. That has also a little cluster action going on in that area, the base of the crystal. These are all really nice. This one is pretty outstanding. It's real thick and set. So, yeah. Some of the smalls. Here's another cluster. Small cluster. It's got a bunch of smalls here. And yeah, once this one's cleaned up, it's going to be. See now the iron coating on these is just starting to be able to come off by finger swiping it. So I'll let these soak a little while longer. I like to try and get a lot of that coating soaked off. See, now that is my only pro tip during this video. Who knows? Just to show you the difference, just a few swipes. I like to clean all these crystals before I use the iron out on them, because the iron out is only as powerful as a certain amount of rust. So if I can put them in there a little bit cleaner, a little bit more clean, then it's gonna last a little bit longer for the rest of the crystals, because any of the iron oxides that go into the mix are going to just constantly break down the iron out solution. A little bit of a higher level. Don't expect to see me pulling these all day, because they're small, but they're not really big. But wow, they are gemmy. And they're cool clusters. Clusters are always different, so that makes it a one of a kind. When they dry, they will look even shinier. That's the crazy thing. Some minerals, when people, they'll say, oh, you got it wet, right? Make it look better. Well, actually, a Herkimer diamond, when it's wet, it doesn't look as good as it's going to look, because there's a bunch of little Herkimers in here wrapping all around that. You might be able to see that little slight difference. It's not flat. But when this one dries, then all of those are going to shine like crazy. And the faces will actually shine more. And the clarity becomes, I think it becomes a little bit better when they're dry. So up close, maybe if I can get this thing to focus. Let's see, where is it going to focus? I don't know. It's hard to tell for me when I'm looking at the camera if it's focused for you. But up close a little bit more, you can see those little ones that are just surrounding the base of this perfect one. Kind of looks like a Mickey Mouse hat. Maybe I'm just too affected by it. Really does. It looks like one of those Mickey Mouse hats. Okay, so that's a little one. And then I have this little cluster. I'm going to see if I can see now. That's a little more focused on the close-up. These are phenomenal, though. Let's see if I can. I'm not sure if the black carbon on the bottom is an inclusion or if that's just because it sat on the floor. Sometimes that black carbon gets stuck in there, but then it'll come out. So seems included. So this is a floater, and it was just sitting on the floor like this. It's crazy clear. I don't even think the camera can show how many crystals are in there because it might not pick them all up, but my guesstimate is that there's like 40, I think. Might be a little high. Maybe there's like 30. There's definitely more than 20. There's at least 10 on the back. It's not a scepter. It's way better than a scepter. You just don't find these very often. When they were fully floating, just sitting on their own, there's no touch marks. Where that Anthraxolite inclusion is on the base is where it sat in the carbon, and the carbon is included. Those are crystal faces. One of the crystals is actually filled with carbon. So that little one that's shining there is like black. So it's pretty cool. Really, really rare find. And then you drop it. Nope, I caught it. Okay, so that one goes over there. Let's see what else. I'm going to take this ugly brush out of here and just show you a bunch of dirty water. So there's an entire pocket in here. It's called the New Wave pocket. Every crystal from the pocket is in here. I'm looking through the smalls, the interesting ones, seeing what's going on. A lot of these crystals, I am looking at them as you're looking at them because they were so dirty when I found them. There's another cluster. Cool. This pocket seems to be producing a lot of like really clustery formations on the, this is just the smalls. Bunch of cluster of like little black diamonds, all black. That's not dirty. Those are all, I don't know if that's shown up in the camera right. It's hard to tell. Those are all little black crystals on the base. Okay, I think maybe that's, crazy little cluster. Yeah, so this is New Wave pocket. It's New Wave because it's all interesting and weird and cool. It's not like totally punk rock, but it's not, because punk rock is pretty limited, man. New Wave, on the other hand, post-punk. That's what this rock and roll pocket is. This is a post-punk pocket. Everybody's got like a cool mohawk or like some kind of weird cluster, or it's like some weird color. Nobody's the same. Everybody's a little bit different. People are starting to get their own personality going on. New Wave. You got your Duran Duran. You got your Bauhaus. Susie and the Banshees. I'm just making this up as I go along. These are the crystals from the New Wave pocket. When I found that, I was just sitting like that. There are live videos in the live dig. For the most part, the live digs are consisting of this New Wave pocket. So far, because that just happened to be when I started me get this brush, and this is kind of how I do this. I leave the brush still. I take the crystal. I sort of rub the crystal into the brush. This brush is cool because it's got a big round hole here. So you can kind of use that. It's just a cheap brush. A little better, a little cleaner. That's all I'm really trying to do, is just get most of the dirt out of the little hard to get to areas. I've been soaking these crystals just in water and a little bit of cheap dish soap. So, first cleaning. See, the on the other side is off. Which brings me to my next suggestion. WROX, live from the kitchen sink. Radio Free America is brought to you by Rock and Roll Crystal Cleaning Soap. Use it. You can get it from almost nowhere. Okay, back to the crystal cleaning. So here's one that's got a nice big flat kind of thing going on top there. Full crystal, has a little touch mark where it was maybe touching a cluster in a cluster. No damages. That's mostly just dirt. Might be an inclusion. Actually, it is. Yep, included right in there. You can see it in the crystal, on the base of the crystal. These crystals seem to have inclusions on their touch points. You can see it down through that crystal that it formed in a bed of carbon. This is probably the base of the cluster, and other crystals kind of built themselves up, and this bit was sitting on the floor. You can see the floor through the base, and you can see that it has a carbon touch there. So another crystal attaches here, it seems. There's a good face there. It's got all good faces. Nice one. Okay, let's see what else we got. See if I can get any that I haven't shown in this video yet. Okay, so here are more of the medium range, larger medium range. Here's a nice one which has been shown on the Instagram. If you follow me there, if you don't, it's a good way to see crystals posted as I'm pulling them and posting them. YouTube is a better place to see lives and actual episodes, but Instagram is Raw Gems Design, or you can follow Rock and Roll Mine. Both are on Instagram, and I personally run both of those accounts. There's no team. So this one still has iron oxide coating. Next, they're all going to have an iron out solution soak. And my next live, or not necessarily my next live, but there will be a live that will be specifically marked that these crystals are clean. This is kind of the first go through. I'm seeing these crystals as everyone else at the same time. I haven't seen this one. I don't know. It was really, really dirty. But that has a perfect chisel tip on it. That's a nice one. So this is the new wave pocket. It's produced. It's been emptied, and every crystal is in this There may be other pockets close to it, but the main pocket area is empty. These crystals will all be available for sale. If you're interested in any of these crystals that I'm cleaning now, you can refer to this video or say New Wave Pocket, and I will let you know which crystals are still available from this pocket. Serious inquiries only, please. These crystals are 350 million years old, and it's a lot of work to get them. So please understand. This is the largest crystal that came from the New Wave Pocket. I haven't weighed it. It's got cathedral, 1, 2, 3, 3 crystal points formation, cathedral formation, 2 points, 3 points on one side, which is rare. Rare cathedral formation with a absolutely gemmy of top goes into a geometric sort of pattern around that. And this is a carbon inclusion. And there's some more. That's dolomite inclusion. And that's where it sat on the floor. Sat like this. This has only been cleaned with water so far. Has some iron staining on the outside. Actually, that is on the inside, so that will not change. But up in these crevices and cracks, all of that will be removed with the next stage of the cleaning, which is an iron out solution. It's just a rust cleaner. Some people use it for their bathroom, for their kitchen sink. I use it for both, and cleaning crystals. So this is the largest crystal from the New Wave pocket. All of this iron stain is likely to come out, or off, I mean. The iron staining does not come out, but it does come off. So sometimes it's a little hard to tell if it's inside or outside. Some of this is outside and some of it is inside. It'll be interesting to see what stays and what goes. So I'll do another live after these have soaked in iron out and then soaked again in water. And it's recommended that you use distilled water when you're using iron out, because the harder water can make the iron out less useful. I don't. But I make sure that my crystals are pretty clean before I do the iron out. So this is the largest crystal that came out of this pocket. All of the crystals from the pocket are in this thing, in this dirty water. This one is heavily iron stained and coated. On the outside you can feel it. It looks crystally like a crystal face, but the iron is on there. The giveaway has not occurred yet. I'm going to do a specific uploaded video about the giveaway, and then people are going to be, here's a nice twin, then people are going to comment and like that specific video. This one has a touch mark here that's a key mark, actually not a key mark, not a touch mark, a key mark, and it connects to one here and then connects to another one here. So that's two key marks. So this is all one pocket. So the possibility of let's say for instance something like that, it all going back together. You can see the clarity through this side of these windows. So once I clean, this is a really intense flower burst cluster right here. Lots of little crystals in there. Flower burst. Kind of bursting out like that. And they will, some may be yellow, but I can feel that this is a coating. It looks like a beautiful crystal face, but I feel that there's a difference. There's a coating on there. So that's what the iron out bath. No, I really don't get skeletal formations here. Um, this crystal has, if you're asking about what I'm talking about with this crystal in particular, this is a rare kind of thing that occurs. This is called a cathedral growth pattern, where there's more than one. They look like little kind of towers, and they all go, but then it really actually, sometimes they go into one point. This one is even weirder, and it goes into 2 points. But in all quartz, these patterns of growth exist. A cathedral pattern exists in Himalayan quartz and various other different types of quartz. But the skeletal pattern, it doesn't, I haven't found any skeletal yet. But this is what I would consider to be a cathedral. Oh. Yesterday's chat, there was one that, now I think I might know what you're talking about. Yesterday's chat, there was, I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll have to go back and look. Here's a nice one that was just sitting on the floor like that. I think I know the one that you're talking about. It was carbon included, like black, black, black. Dark pitch black. So there's lots of clusters in the new wave pocket. Look how clear. These are all going to be very, very, very clear. I can tell already. Before they even go in iron out, I can see. They were very iron coated. You can see that they're very iron coated. So when I was pulling them out, I really couldn't tell what the situation was. Yeah, there's a nice one that goes into the cluster also. Has a double turn rider there. Clicks into the cluster here. Clicks into the cluster there. I think this cluster was one of those weird ones that looks like a snake. Like goes kind of like whoop. Because they're all like have key marks on the sides like that. So usually it'll kind of go like in that pattern. And that's why they collapse, because they actually grew like in that pattern. And it's, but the good thing about that is when that collapses, it collapses in on itself, and then you have every piece there. And if you're thorough and you really empty that pocket properly, then you'll have every piece. And that's why I keep even these in the same as these larger ones, just in case these puzzle pieces need to. That really is a really cool little. Yeah. This is proof that water holds information. This is the information. The stacking of molecular contents in hyper-focused environment. This crystal is water with ADHD. It's a hyper-focused energy module. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, I think I just pulled that one out a minute ago. That one cleaned itself right up. This one did a good job of cleaning itself up. It was red. So I didn't have to scrub too hard on this batch. I just kind of let them sit in the water, and yeah, I'm getting into some that are ones we have not seen yet. That one. There's a weird shape. That's a cool shape. That's another coffin. That's kind of like a coffin shape that I've been finding here. It's almost like a hawk nose and a coffin, because you can see that. But then you look at it from the side and it's got this kind of. Rock and roll has the best clarity, man. It's a fact. Ace of diamonds, rock and roll. That one looks like something fell when it collapsed. Or, no, I see what. Anytime there's a touch mark on one side, there's always like a weird pressure point on the other side. There's a touch mark there. So then an occurrence of like stress happens there. So that's not damage. See it? So you get let me see if I can show. See that stress on the other side. But it happened from a crystal sitting right there. Probably something like that. But then it occurs in stress right here. Not damage. That is not Herkimer diamond damage, folks. Natural. There's the evidence. So this is an entire pocket of crystals. All the crystals were put into this as I was emptying the pocket. I was putting them all into this thing. And oh, there's a nice one. Now they've been soaking in water so far. And this is called New Wave Pocket. All hand dug You can see lives of these crystals being dug in the live section. I pretty much started doing lives as I was finding this pocket and then emptying this pocket and cleaning it out, and now I'm cleaning the crystals. So all of my lives so far have been related to this pocket so far. The documentation of finding, emptying. Wow, that one's really flat, tabby, and it just has that nice one sitting right there. Look at that. That's crazy. Gotta clean that one up a little bit more. That one's really nice. This is rock and roll. So to give people, maybe you just came here and you don't know, rock and roll is a crystal mine on a farm in Herkimer County, New York. And we mine these crystals by hand with no machines. And we're coming to you live right now from the rock and roll kitchen sink. So that was a nice smoke. It's got some nice smoky qualities. It's got some little cluster action on the bottom also. Some of these smalls I still have to clean up a little bit with a brush. Let's get over to some mediums. I'll just set them in my hand. That one's kind of a cluster. That's a key mark where a crystal sets. There's like dirt on the side of it. Set on the floor like this. This one needs to get brushed. It's got a little cluster happening there. This is all kind of, it looks like a Gwendol. It's more like what Himalayan quartz does when it sets on the floor or sets up against a rock. It makes the faces flat crystals. Gwendol. You don't see that very often in Hercs, but this one is absolutely that. So that's an interesting formation. It's not even rehealed. It was born like that. Interesting. This one is very, very iron coated and will be clear, clear, clear when all that comes off. Pretty nice hawk nose. Sets in the cluster like that. It's got a key mark here. One key mark here, one key mark here. So it kind of cantilevered out off the side like that. Perfect faces. So it'll key right back in. Here's another one. Got a little bit of a key mark here, got a key mark here. That one does kind of a similar thing. Cantilevers out off the, so does this one. Actually, no, I think this one's part of the snake pattern. It's got a key mark here, a touch mark here. I think these are all going to go back together as, oh, one just dropped on the floor. I think these are all going to go back together as a nice cluster, but I don't know if I'm going to go through all that with it. And for the most part, that's most of the, I can't fit them all in my hand. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way. Too many. There's too many of them. That's kind of saying a lot because I can really fit a lot of crystals in my hands. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the way that cluster goes back together. And so I'm just going to glue it and send it out to China. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Sean Adams for WROX. Rock and Roll, Herkimer County. Signing out. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate the support. If you want to buy this magical cluster before I send it away, let me know. Have a great one, guys.